Hey guys, and welcome back to Morgs Menu. So I got some really good feedback on the last soup recipe that I shared. A lot of people have told me that they tried it and really enjoyed it. So I wanted to share with you another one of my go-to soup recipes. This is going to be for a potato soup. It's a really creamy, really delicious soup. Super simple to throw together. As you can see, this video is super short. So basically you just have to throw all the ingredients into a crock pot and let the crock pot do its thing, which is so nice. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and show you how to put that together. Alright, so here are the ingredients we'll need. So we have some shredded sharp cheddar cheese, carrot chips or just baby carrots, whatever kind of carrots will work. For the spices, we need salt, pepper, garlic, and a little bit of olive oil. Obviously some potatoes, chicken stock or chicken broth or whatever broth or stock you want to use, some chives, red pepper, some onion, basil leaves, and half and half. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and prep up the veggies. So for this, we're going to dice up about half an onion or about a cup of diced onions. Then we're also going to dice up the carrots. So because these carrot chips are already pre-washed and ready to go, you don't have to do any type of prep. So if you can get your hands on these are super easy to chop up. And for the carrots, you'll need about the same amount. Alrighty, and now we're gonna chop up the potatoes. So you can peel the potatoes if you want to. I didn't worry about it because again, I like the peeling on potatoes as I've mentioned before. All personal preference, but basically just dice them up into cubes. You want to dice enough potatoes so that you have just about 4 cups of diced potatoes. Now we're going to go ahead and saute up the onion and carrot and a little bit of olive oil. You basically want to continuously cook them and move them around, and then add in the minced garlic. You'll need about a teaspoon of that and cook that in to give them a nice flavor. And you just want to cook these until they're soft and the onions are starting to brown just a little bit. So now we're going to start preparing up the crock pot. So just spray it with cooking spray and start by adding in the diced potatoes in the bottom. And then you're going to add in your broth just so that it's the same height of the potatoes and all of them are covered. Want to add in some salt and pepper to taste. And the same thing with red pepper flakes, just a dash. You can add more or less depending on your spice preference. And we'll add in our sauteed onions and carrots. Lastly, you want to add in the basil just before we go ahead and stir everything around so that all of it is combined and everything is covered nicely with the chicken broth. So now we're going to go ahead and cook that on high for about 4 hours. Again, this will depend on the size of the potatoes that you cut up, but mine was about 4 to 4.5 hours with the size that I used here. So when you're done, you want to make sure you take a fork and just test the potatoes and make sure that a couple pieces that you test, they're nice and soft. And when they are, you want to go ahead and take an immersion blender and then just kind of go ahead and move that around so that it smooths out the potatoes. You can skip this step if you want it to be a little bit chunky, but I personally liked more of a creamy potato soup, so I like to use this immersion blender. If you don't have this, you could take it out and just put it in a normal blender or just kind of mash everything with a potato masher or a couple different ways, depending on how exactly you want the texture to be. So now we're going to add in our half and half and cheddar cheese. You want to make sure you wait until after the cooking process is done to add this in. Because everything is so hot, it's going to melt the cheese down really nicely once you stir it all together. And then you're going to also top it with some chives. You can either add this in here to the full batch, or you could just throw the chives on top once you put it in your bowl. All personal preference on that. And then just give it all a nice stir so that all the cheese melts and everything is nice and combined together. And this is about 490 calories as prepared. This itself made about 4 servings, so we ate it for dinner and then we also had it for leftovers later on for the week. It was really good as a leftover. The texture and everything stayed the same, so highly recommend this soup. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. One thing I will note is make sure that before you go ahead and try and blend or kind of mash together the potatoes, that you test them with a fork. The original recipe, I remember that when I tried it the first time, it called for like 2 to 3 hours to cook on low, and it ended up taking like 4 to 5 hours. So it really depends on how big your chunks of potatoes are. So just make sure, test them with a fork and make sure that they're completely done before you try and smooth everything out and meld everything together. But otherwise, it's a super duper easy recipe. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This video will be going up the Wednesday right before Thanksgiving, so I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. If you're celebrating it or just have a day off or whatever the case is, I hope you guys enjoy your holiday and spending time with your friends, family, or just having some alone time if you're just doing that. So anyway, thanks again for watching Morgs Menu, and I hope you guys have a great day and a great Thanksgiving. Bye guys.